See you later. Alright, I think we're good.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, I hear you pretty good.
Cool.
Alright, TCE, Twistedaways?
It's Twistedaways.
Twistedaways.
That one's messed up, I see. It's kind of not spaced out. But, so the story behind that is, like, it's kind of a play on words because Arion, my name's Arion. Mm-hmm. And it's like everything's a different colorway, so it's an A-way. So it's a twisted A-way because everything I do is just fucking crazy.
Twisted, like...
And then shit, I twist my blunts too, or my joints, you know what I'm saying?
What do you roll up, like,
shit,
you backwoods smoker?
Honestly, if I smoke, it's papers, and then I like experimenting with papers and shit. But, I mean, I fuck with raws or elements, those are cool. But lately, like this last year, I've been strictly just wax, like shatter.
Like dabs?
Yeah,
like you go to the dispo for it, or?
I mean, I got, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's decent, like decent enough to where I can just, like, I can get high every day or just like make it last. And it's like, sure, it's more expensive in the beginning, but it lasts me so much longer. Like if I'm getting weed, like, it's just fun to roll up, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, just, especially if you're at home just making shit, you know? So you just go burn through that shit quick, you know, run through an eighth quick, you feel me? Or
yeah, know. I mean, if I'm a roll up, I'm rolling up like a raw cone or something, you know?
I hear ya.
And I don't smoke that often, but when I do...
Yeah. You like edibles?
Yeah, I'll take like an edible before I sleep or some shit, or like... So what me and my girlfriend do... At the end of the day, it's always like we're watching a TV show or some shit. Like right now, we're watching *Handmaid's Tale*. You know what that is? That shit.
What's that on?
Netflix.
Hulu.
Hulu's.
Shouts out Hulu.
It's like the most stressful show ever. I can't even explain that. You gotta watch it just to fucking.
So is it like a detective or is it like superhero?
It's like America or the U.S. gets taken over by this like extremely religious group. They turn a big part of the U.S. into like what's called Gilead,
sure.
And they take fertile women, so women that can have babies, and they put them in rich homes of people that want to have kids, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is when it's time to make the baby or whatever the fuck, it's like a ritual, but it's just between the handmaid, is what they call the woman.
Sure.
The wife and the husband in the family in the bedroom. So the wife gets on the bed, and the handmaid lays on the edge of the bed, and the husband just basically rapes her, impregnates her, shit. Blah blah blah. But I'm not gonna spoil it. I
feel like some shows like that are based off real life. Like, where do they get these ideas from? Or like,
this is like based off the Bible, straight up.
Yeah,
like,
man.
They're always like.
That's why I mean, I don't know how you about religion, but I'm not like anti-religion. I don't necessarily trust it sometimes.
I mean, my parents or my mom basically. My aunt is really religious, but.
I grew up religious.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I was around religion, but I've never been to church.
Like vibes, man. Like, I guess there's I was into the church like deep, and I was like, I like wanted to get into it because if I'm getting into it, I'm gonna do it. And we went to I did this Bible study thing, and everything was cool until they started talking in tongues, and I was just like in the back corner, like hovering, and I'm just like, this is fucking weird. Like, I think they're doing it for attention, and it's not natural. And most of the time I'm here, they're asking me for money. Like, so I mean, I just kind of, instead of like trying to find happiness in something else, I just try to find it in myself. Not saying I'm a god, but like. Mm-hmm. I mean, just like, what did you do before religion? Like, I just feel like life. I guess you can say I'm spiritual, not religious.
What I like to say whenever it's brought up, and it's not brought up often, is that just, I'm a free spirit. I guess you could say, like, just I'm vibes, open to anything, man. Too. Just vibes, for real. Like
if you have negative energy, I can already tell, and I just don't. Shit, you seem chill. We just fucking met each other. Like,
I mean, going back to what we were talking about before this, what were we fucking talking about?
Like before we turned on the camera and shit?
Yeah.
We were just trying to do like a little bio, telling each other about ourselves and getting back to that.
Going back to the just vibes then.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question. Whenever you're making something, when it comes to the process, what part of it do you enjoy the most? Like sourcing the fabric, or unless you enjoy just everything at most, but you source the fabric, you cut it up, you sew it, taking pictures of it, selling it.
It's a lot of shit.
Like
it's a lot of shit.
Is there anything you'd say you've
like what's the best part of it?
Mm-hmm.
Man, it's like this. Like is good and bad things to everything. You know what I'm saying? Like the best part, I guess, would be when you get an idea and it's fresh and you just don't stop until the idea is done. Like you just got, this is what you're doing, but it doesn't come out like all the time. But and the good and bad thing is like you said, all the stuff that you were saying, it's all a lot of shit. Like, and sometimes it's heavy and sometimes it weighs on you. But it's all about, like, going back to like the spiritual stuff. It's just like having a good headspace, being mindful, because all the stuff that you have to do could just start building up and like you just lose focus. Like you stop one day, but at the same time you don't want to stress out every day. Mm-hmm. But I just love when I get like a good idea, like, and it lasts long, like a good design, and it looks great, and then afterwards, like, and people appreciate it.
Yeah, do you ever just make something and just admire it for a minute?
Oh yeah.
Like I do that all the time. I'll make something, I'll fucking just stare at it, and I kind of think of that as like meditating almost. Like I'm literally just looking at this thing, thinking about the thoughts that went into it, just like everything.
The whole process, the fact that you had to go to another house to do this shit. I just learned that about you.
So I'll just run down, because we talked about this off camera.
Mm-hmm.
I make rugs at my girlfriend's house. I live with my girlfriend. I want to just go back to when I first started sewing.
Yeah.
I was at my girlfriend's house talking to her mom in the kitchen while my girlfriend was at work.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm telling her, I'm going through Instagram, I'm like, oh, I'm so interested in these people that are like sewing. Like I see these people make like these pants out of these throw blankets and everything, and she's like, and I'm like, oh, I wish I could sew, but I don't know anything about it.
Sure.
She's like, oh, I have a new sewing machine in the closet. I'm like, what? She's
That's
like,
crazy.
Yeah, you could use it if you want. And I'm like, that was it.
Yeah.
That was fucking it.
I mean, shit.
That fucking second, I'm like, closest thrift store near me. I went to a Savers. I found a throw blanket, and
Savers.
I was like,
Schaumburg was crazy.
Yeah, dude, literally the Savers in Hoffman Estates, if you've ever been there.
Okay.
So I go there, I get the fabric. I'm on there so it's like an island and then kitchen, dining room table, but I'm on the island with the sewing machine, the fabric. I'm like, oh shit. And then it's like YouTube video, cut it up, sew it, fuck up. Like, it took me like 4 or 5 times before I was able to like make something I could wear.
And it's cool because it's like you're interested in it and you want to keep doing it, and that's the best part right there. Mm-hmm. like not being discouraged because you fucked up, but getting encouraged because you want to do better.
Yeah, like I never thought like, oh, these guys must have just had it right away. I was like,
sure.
No, like you gotta learn this shit.
Everything is a process. Painting, fucking walking. People who break their legs have to learn how to walk again. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I sprained my ankle once and I was like just limp, and I'm like,
sure,
fuck. But there's so much worse that happens to people. And yeah, it's a process, but you learn from that shit at the end of the day.
Yeah. Because it's all about building. I seen this one picture. It was like it was a spiral, and then from the top view, it just looks like a spiral, cool spiral. But then when they shifted the view to the side, it was a spiral going up. So like, people say they're going in circles, but there's every time you go in that circle, you learn more, and you just have a better understanding of what you're trying to do, and you're still building. There's no you know what I'm saying?
No ending, and
exactly.
And then going back to like learning how to sew, I started sewing there, and then it came around to like Christmas, and my mom, she knew I was like, I think it's because she wanted me back at the house or whatever, but she bought me a sewing machine, right? Like
Fire.
Someone from Walmart or whatever, but that was it. And I was like appreciative of it. And she's like, oh, now you could sew here. And I'm like, okay. So
that shit take time too.
So I retired my girlfriend's mom's sewing machine, and I got a decent amount of space at my mom's house. So I go there, and I'm like, I got all this free time while I'm at my girlfriend's house.
Yeah.
And that's when I was like, I started to see like people making rugs, but like I'm not gonna be cocky or anything, but I think I got into making rugs right before like the whole rug thing started happening. Because I remember, Euphoric Supply at all? So I think he did a lot of shit for like ASAP. Tyler created, like, he made those Pokemon looking cards for rappers and shit.
Okay.
I think he might have been the one that like started that like thing way back in the day, but then he started making rugs, and he made it all like, he just blew it out of proportion. He started selling the rug machines, the fabric, and that's why, like, have you ever seen someone that just makes rugs on their Instagram at all? Like,
I see a couple rug makers, but I also follow like really good rug makers. So like, I'm not saying really good, but I say like people who have people do it from overseas. You know what I'm saying? Asia
is really hot into that shit. Like tufting, they do that shit better than anyone else. Like
Noreen Sheenbrook, I think is the name that I'm thinking of.
Oh yeah,
guy from Brooklyn.
I talked to him before. He makes his shit, or he has an operation, which was his father's, I believe, in
Nepal.
Yeah, Nepal, and it's all made by hand. That is some
like the whole process, the dyeing.
Yeah,
the
that's
weaving.
Way different than like tufting with the machine.
It totally is, because it's somebody else making your product versus you making the product. Not discouraging that at all. It's a whole process to find a good reseller or person to make your stuff.
Yeah, and when you want quality, like he's made rugs for Kylie Jenner or some shit like that. ASAP Ferg.
I'm trying to get an AB rug from him. Like I want to hit him up with a custom rug, but I just don't want to waste his time. Like, so when I have the cash, I'm gonna be like, yo, I got 5,000 or whatever.
That would be hard as shit.
I don't want a small one. I want a big one.
Like this room size. He could fucking do that shit.
Yeah.
Then have you seen that one he made for ASAP Ferg? It's like all different colored squares.
Yeah, I seen that one.
Oh my god, I was like, fuck, like, and I think that's his studio space too.
Yeah, that's wild.
Man, I'm gonna grab water real quick.
Come in. Hey, can you grab me one?
Yeah. I got Ice Mountain, and then I got like Smart Water.
Shit, I'm not sponsored. We're not sponsored yet, so anything's cool. I just get the deals.
Smart Water's probably easier to drink with the fucking nozzle.
Thanks, bro.
Damn, I thought it was about to rain though. Like, I heard thunder and all that shit.
The whole time?
Yeah, like while I was setting this up, I'm like, damn.
But it's kind of sunny right now.
You're looking pretty good. Let's spit this. You don't know too. Oh, if you want some gum like this.
life is crazy. Because you never know what's about to happen. So, I guess I did these pants for Shea Gillis-Alexander one time. Like, he hit me up, right? No. Like, when he hit me up the first time, I didn't know who he was, but I knew he was a basketball player. And my roommate, he hit me up. He's like, yo, he plays for the Thunder. He's crazy. He's got, like, crazy swag. And now he's, like, modeling for LV and shit. So I made him these pants, and he paid me for them, which was really dope, because at that time, everybody's asking me for free shit. But I ended up sending him a bunch of free stuff because, like, if you respect me enough to pay, like it's just like love, it's just different. Might show you some like exactly
extreme love, like.
But so I did the pants, and he told me his size was 34, and I think I just didn't. I did the 34, but I think I made him too short, too small. But and at the same time, I also sent him in the box. I sent him a bunch of stuff, and I used to repaint these cans, these empty spray paint cans.
Yeah, I seen.
And
what happened to your artwork? Did you like archive it, or is it on your other page?
There's. What do you mean?
Like, I remember when I first followed you, I messaged you because I saw this. You painted this like China cabinet or something.
Oh yeah, dude! I honestly am about to burn that.
What?
It's been in my mom's house for so long, and I just don't know what to do with it.
Just collecting dust.
Yeah, like, and then she just sold her house, so now it's like, what are you gonna do with it? So there's like so much, and it's heavy as fuck. It's like 500. It's not 500 pounds, but it's like.
Why don't you try and sell it on like Facebook Marketplace? Dude, I'm sure someone like priced it at some extravagant shit.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I try to. I mean, I have a Facebook, but I just try to stay off Facebook.
Oh, I haven't. I use Facebook like once a month just to like check in on family, whatever. You know. Yeah, but shit, that's such a dope piece of work, though.
Yeah, that was my first like major piece. That took me like a whole summer to do, like to sand down everything, to paint. I archived it. I took it off my page because I wanted that page to be all clothes, and then because that piece right there, it's borderline like architecture or like just like an art piece. Like, so if I was gonna post it anywhere, I also have like a main page where I post my paintings and anything art related, like quilts or something that's like, it's like not clothes, but you could, it's like my fine art versus like, I don't know, like I just look at and then I do digital art too, so everything is like, it's like I don't do one thing for long. I mean, I've been painting like crazy these past couple weeks just because I've been feeling like painting.
That's all it is too. Like, that's why I was bringing up that I also made rugs earlier. Like, like sewing, I enjoy it in the moment.
It's a fucking lot of work, man.
Yeah, at times, and it's like sometimes you just want to take a break from that.
Yeah. Clean your machine. Do you clean your machine?
I
dust it out and shit.
I have a little vacuum that my girlfriend got me, and I haven't cleaned my machine yet. I'm probably just lazy as shit, or
no, I hear you.
But yeah,
it's nothing to like get a little. They have like, you know, the little duster or like the brush that comes with it.
Like,
all you gotta do is just take everything out and do the quick clean in there. It just can fuck up your machine, man. I've had problems where I didn't do it and I just have so much lint collect up, and then you got a fucked up machine when you're trying to sew, when you had the inspiration the whole time you didn't have it, you know. So
I mean, I break a needle every now and then, but like that happens. I don't, it's never fucked up to where I was like, oh, is there too much like lint in there?
Sure.
Like, I look in there to make sure it's like there's lint in there, right? I'm like, maybe another day, but that little vacuum, I'll probably just go in there and suck that shit out real quick.
I should get a little vacuum. I don't have a little vacuum.
I mean, then also, I use it mostly to get like, you know, just a little shits that fall on the floor from, like, when you rip up pants or whatever. That shit is so annoying. It's like,
I remember you hit me. I vacuumed that that day too. Keep the vacuum on deck. I bought a nice vacuum.
You gotta have a nice fucking vacuum if you're doing this shit.
It felt good whenever I was vacuuming. If you buy a cheap vacuum, that shit's not gonna last. And then, you know, whatever.
It's also nice to have just like a clean workspace, you know?
Yeah. I don't mind the mess all the time, but whenever you do clean it up, it's like a whole different area, whole different space. It's like, oh, okay, yeah, this spot is pretty cool.
Like you clean up your like thoughts almost from like your previous work.
Yeah.
And then you have a new canvas.
That's
and then
true.
It's like clean up, new canvas.
I like that analogy.
Yeah. And then it's like, I like cleaning too, because it has to be a part of the process.
Yeah.
At some point.
Exactly.
And we were talking about Kentucky Boy earlier. Have you ever seen those images? He's posted it in Ass Pizza. They just post these pictures of like, I'm assuming they rent out like Airbnbs for like a month to whatever, work, get all their shit done, don't clean until like just the last week or something. It looks like they hoard that shit. And I'm just like, damn, like, but that's all they do, like, right? Yeah. And it's like, shit. Like, you gotta have a whole crew for that shit. They're like
on a different vibe, for sure.
I mean, but they're eating off this shit more than, like, anyone else is.
Yeah. You gotta respect it.
Yeah. I mean, if it got to that point, like, shit, I'd probably rather have my own place so no one was like, yo, what the fuck are you doing, you know? Like, and that's probably why they get so much done. Like, no one's really telling them what to do. Like, yeah, they like their own bosses and shit. And that's just like anyone's goal, I guess.
Of course.
Being your own boss.
I really feel like I don't necessarily want to do like fashion. Like I just want to keep everything like one of one. Like so there's no like not. I mean everything will be. I mean sure there could be like a patch put on there, but the patches might be different. Or I just don't want to. I don't know. I might be just talking bullshit now, but I just really want to keep like everything like simple, like one, like paintings, clothes, like, and it's all made by me. You feel me?
Let's say you were put in
like
a position.
high quality.
Yeah, like I'm gonna just show this shit off. This shirt you fucking made me. I'm looking at it, right? I'm observing it. I'm gonna run it up to the camera. I'm looking at this shit. Or I don't mean to say shit, but you know.
Yeah.
I'm looking on the inside, and then I noticed you just sewed all this just together, and then just did stitched around just to get it on the shirt, and I thought that was like
it's like a different wave.
Yeah.
And it's cool because the purpose of, I mean the main purpose, I mean obviously it's just to keep me sane. But a good reason to keep doing this is because it's saving scraps. Like that whole thing is what somebody could have threw away, and I found it and kind of nurtured it and turned it to something that somebody could rock every single day. I'm telling you have to rock that for every time. Just like
dude, I'm wearing the fuck out of this shit.
But the thing, and yeah, like all the scraps are high quality because they're like, I had a friend who was worked at a furniture store, and she told me all of their their show fabrics.
This almost looks like and couch material.
It is exactly. That's how high quality it is. Like so, like it's durable. It's fucking strong. Like some of the fabrics that I use are like $200 a yard. Like expensive.
So
But it's all garbage to some people. And I've met other people from different furniture stores, and they throw their shit away too, and I just be like,
so is that how you get your fabric?
That
like
is.
You hit a furniture store?
Yeah.
That
like
is
anybody
so
who does customized furniture will have a selection of fabrics and when they don't need them, they hit me up. I come through, and I mean, I haven't. There was one where I've like given them like a bag because they've helped me out a lot.
Yeah.
And now my stock is like so much, like I have just like piles of clothes everywhere, or piles of fabric everywhere. But it's cool because like I'm into this shit, so it's there whenever I need it.
So like, do you throw anything away at the end of the day, or?
Bro, everything gets used. Like, even I even save all of the strings that I cut away from. I have a whole bag of like like all
when
my
you
yarn.
cut the thread off.
Yeah, like.
So you save those?
Yes, bro.
I have a garbage can.
Everything.
But I do save all just a little like. When I work with like fabric, whatever, like there's gonna be those little like triangle squares.
There's some shit you just throw away.
Yeah, I keep all of it in plastic bags, and they're just like hoarding in this corner of my room, and I'm like, I can't get rid of these.
But that's the thing, you have to use them. Like, so it kind of throws me off balance sometimes, because sometimes I want to do a project, but I have so much scraps to where I'm like, I can't keep doing new things. I gotta reuse this shit. I gotta figure out how to use it.
So have you
kind of slows me down.
Have you ever gotten back to ground zero, or has it just been like the same?
No, dude. Every project has more scraps, and every scraps leads to a new project.
Oh my God.
So like it's cool, but like it's just overwhelming sometimes. But it's the fact that I can do it whenever I want. I mean, I love to do it. It's just a lot of work, So whenever I'm not in the mood, I just won't do it. But I'll be like painting or some shit. Then when I'm in the mood, fucking it's so time. Be on that machine for like 8 hours.
When you turn your
with
machine
a lunch break.
That's how it fucking feels. Like when you're making something, do you have music going, podcasts?
I fuck with music. I fuck with music heavy. Like I used to, like 2014 SoundCloud. Like
those are the fucking days.
Lately I've been listening to like a lot of Young Bruh, and I was just listening to old Chief Keef and old Soulja Boy, just because it's that vibe.
You gotta throw it back to that old Chief Keef. Come on, Macaroni Time, fucking man. What's that song by him and Ball Out? I was literally just listening, like Ball Out Baby, some earrings so damn big. Can't even whatever. Man. Yeah, I listen to music more than anything, I'd say, when
my neighbors are probably pissed. I mean, they all do the same thing. They're not pissed. They fuck with me. But I got like a subwoofer, and I've got it connected to my Roku. I've got the Roku soundbar and the Roku subwoofer. Okay. And it's dope. It bumps. Blast that shit? I don't do it crazy. I do it respectfully. But sometimes they probably hear it, but it's not too loud. Like I can turn that shit up, but I won't turn it up too loud. You feel me?
The vibration in the wall.
Yeah, like maybe. They catch a vibe. Like I'm the house DJ. I just moved in January, and I was kind of a little timid to play the songs, but because I'm like, they might not catch the vibe, but I just fucking rock it out, and
you just gotta have loud music. Chill. Like
they used to play loud shit, so I feel no remorse whenever I do.
Maybe that like gets them up at some point during the day, like maybe like are they older people or?
I don't know. They're probably there's an older guy down there. He needs. I ain't gonna say nothing about my neighbors, bro. They cool, but
I mean, you never know. Like, there could be a time where someone's just like trying to get up, and they're like feeling down, and like they hear like you just turned that shit on, and like it's like okay, and you never know what happens behind those fucking walls, dude. You never fucking know. So you just gotta think of it like that, like.
Feel like I'm doing him a favor.
Exactly. Either a favor, maybe sometimes it's like, oh, fuck.
Like, you're welcome, nigga.
But, yeah. Man, I wouldn't feel bad about that at all.
No, I don't anymore. I don't. And then I got that, and then I've got a little JBL Go speaker.
Okay.
The smaller one. And then I think the iPad sounds great sometimes, but you know, sometimes.
It's like dude, I just be like playing music off my phone.
Yeah.
That's what I do when I make rugs. Just everything's on my phone.
Does that get too loud where you can't hear?
Yeah, sometimes I put earbuds in, but sometimes it's like I just want background noise. I'm thinking about nothing other than working, yo. Like I'm lost in my thoughts. Like I'm sure you've been there. You're just like,
bro,
fucking lost.
That's how it is. It's like meditation.
Exactly.
It's a form of meditation.
I feel like it's all meditative because you're just sitting there.
Especially the humming of the machine.
Yeah.
The sound that it makes.
Like when your machine turns on, or
how
when you turn it
slow
on,
you have to move to. Okay.
When you turn your machine on, does it like your needle? Does it like?
Yeah.
That's what mine does, and whenever I hear that, I'm just like, it's time.
Yeah.
It's fucking time. Just,
I love that sound.
So
I got a Surger recently, and it doesn't make that noise.
Oh, you just turn it on.
I don't use it as much. I played with it for a little bit. I think it's cool.
So what do you use it for?
Recently, I haven't used it. The last time I was using it, I was in a mood where I didn't feel like sewing, and I broke a needle, and I was just pissed. So I just haven't. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna chill. Let me chill. Let me go do something else for a bit. I haven't touched it, and that was like a month ago. So I mean, it was impulse buy, but I think it's convenient. It's a strong stitch.
Oh yeah, when I started sewing, I was like looking at the machines. I'm like, a Surger, but
because you think you might need this and that.
Yeah, but
you can get by.
Right? And it's
you can get by.
Yeah, I'll probably
just stick to the machine, bro. The sewing machine, like that's all you need. Like, and the only time I feel like it's a decorative stitch, like when you want to just show up, like. I think there's a lot of people who serge and then flip it inside out to show the serge stitch. When I think there's a guy, I think his name's Serger or something like that on Instagram, where that's just the type of stitch that he has. It's a really cool stitch, and that's why I bought it, because I thought it would be cool around some of my patches. Like you see, I got the zigzag stitch on this. I thought it would be really cool to have that, like, what is it, like 3-stitch, 2-stitch chain or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, did you like how it came out, or were you like?
I do. I think it's a cool machine, but I would say I might need it. Some of the fabrics I use are just so fucking heavy. I got a good one. It was like, I don't remember. I think it's a Singer something, but it's like a budget machine, like $250, like $300, but I got on sale at Joann's, and it's like a good machine. I've read all the reviews and shit, and it's a great budget machine, but I think I might need something stronger, but you know, it's usable. But I really just see myself using the stitch machine.
So is your sewing machine like does it puncture through multiple layers of fabric, or?
It can get through. It can get through like, a lot of layers of fabric, and then leather. Just throw a leather needle on there. But I usually just stick to the denim needle, or like the jean needle, or whatever it is.
I didn't even know that was a thing, to be honest with you. Wow, like.
Just because like when you're doing like knit, it has more of like a round, so it's not like poking the fabric, because you know sometimes when you sew it'll go in your machine. It's just all about the fabrics that you use, like. And then the denim needle that the denim is like the one that I usually use. It's like they're all pretty much the same price, and then but I just feel like it's stronger and maybe a little thicker, and it helps with the multiple layers and shit.
That's what I feel about, like, with the zigzag stitch. I feel like it's a stronger stitch.
Yeah.
Right? Like,
it is.
Covers more surface.
And it helps keep things together.
Yeah.
Very strong.
Do we have the camera going or anything when we were talking about that? I don't think so.
About
like the stitches?
I'm not sure. I don't think we did.
Yeah.
I fuck with the zigzag stitch. That's my thing.
Yeah, that's my. Like, I remember the number on my machine. I'll go number 4 stitch, bop, 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 and then I'll make the stitch smaller. Like.
Yeah.
do you keep it the same size, or does it depend?
For the most part, and unless I'm doing like something where I'm doing like some like a patchwork like figure, like a skull, or like the one I just posted. Yeah, mm-hmm. Like if there's detail work where I'm doing like where I have to change the size, sure, but most of the time I just keep it what it is. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it's like the
unless
basic.
I have to.
Yeah, sewing machines are so fucking weird. Would you have ever thought you'd be sewing when you were like younger?
No, like, and it's crazy because this whole time while my grandma, you know, she was alive, she was sewing, she did all these crazy quilts and rugs, and I mean, I just thought they were cool. And then like when she passed, like she willed me her machine, and then I'm like, before I've always thought about, you know, making clothes. Like I said, I was in art school. I went for illustration and design, and
for a year.
For a year and a half.
Okay.
And it was cool. I guess I learned but basically I just learned that art school is like a bunch of fucking projects. You know, if you really want to do it, you gotta do it yourself.
Yeah. Some guy told me that he was working at Round 2, the one that opened up in Wicker Park, and I went to school for a year, or college, and I remember seeing this guy walk in the hallway, and he would come out of like the art section of the school, or fashion section, and he was always dripped out, everything. And then I see him working at Round 2 one day. I'm like, oh, didn't you go to Harper College, which is where I went, in Palatine? And he's like, oh yeah, I went there for fashion or whatever, but you don't need that bullshit.
Yeah.
He's like, fuck that shit. Just if you're gonna do it.
They could give you good opportunities. It could lead you in the right place, but sometimes I just feel like if you're... When I was in school, bro, they were telling me like most people with the field that I'm working in will work in an office, and I'm just like, that's not what I want to do. Like, I want to be an artist. Like, I just feel like it's not what it used to be. Like back in the day, like art school, like I feel like you can get by without a degree. Like, you know, the old heads think you need some shit, but like I just like it's the practice. Like, it's seriously a practice of making art. Like, it never ends. It's a lonely fucking lifestyle, bro, but like it's not something everybody can do, but like it's worth it. And to know that some of your things that you create won't even have an impact until after you die, or 20 years later, you know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah,
like most of the things I make won't be seen, and that's just what it is. But throughout time and life, they'll pop up here and there, and it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? But I think that it's gonna inspire the next generation, because like this shit that I'm doing, bro, is crazy, and it's good for the world, bro. I'm reusing shit that people think is trash.
Yeah,
and that's the best part.
That's so crazy. Like, so it's furniture stores, you said?
Mm-hmm.
Around here. So do you just look up furniture stores near me and then like give them a call or something?
I mean, it all happens pretty natural. Like the first one I said, I found a friend, and then she kind of introduced me that she was doing that. But then I was like, what? So then that's when I was like, I called a couple once, and I'm like, yeah, I'm an artist in the area. I mean, if you want to not throw away your fabrics, give them to me and I'll put them to good use. And then, I mean, anytime you don't have to throw something away, it's good. So they hit me up whenever they have discontinued fabrics, and it's fucking nice, man. It's nice because it's all resourceful.
I know there's people out there that probably like throw a shit ton of like leftover fabric away, and like it always irks me just thinking about that. But then it's like, I don't know. And then sometimes when I'm making pieces with like, so recently I got into vintage sheets, and like I've like literally fallen in love with just looking at them, mm-hmm. the dates in which they were made, the mm-hmm. details. And I'm thinking like, oh, like when I make a bag or something, what if I put, so I'll make a bag, I'll have, because the vintage fabric is real thin, I'll have the fabric on the outside, a layer of cotton, and then like a satin inside.
Okay.
What if like I hide the excess fabric in the bag for someone else? If way down the line they deconstruct it and they find that shit, you never know. Or just use it as a filler down the road.
I like to use my scraps for fillers. Like I've made like 3D objects. Like they're not really comfortable to lay on like a pillow or a dice. I made this like dice thing, chance cube I call it. I wish I almost brought it, but it's just like I was gonna set it on the table.
Send me a picture of that shit. That sounds interesting.
And it's but I will just fill it with my scraps, and that's another way to use scraps. But I've made pillows with scraps before, but there's not. I mean, it's kind of tough, but I think it works.
What else can be done with like leftover fabric,
bro?
There's
you
like
could fucking
endless things.
There's a lot of videos on YouTube where people are like deconstructing jeans and making like bags and shit. But I don't know, I just feel like there's no end to anything. Like you could reupholster that chair with some denim scraps, or you know what I'm saying, like you can do the curtains, you know what I'm saying, anything that's fabric can be reconstructed.
Dude, you should make some curtains.
I've got curtains. I'm not even joking. Like if you want,
I just thought about that. Like
if you want to come by after this, like I mean it's a 20-minute drive, but
you
I show
have,
you
like,
the studio.
Food out by you, like restaurants and shit.
That's where Peoria has the food stuff out there.
Like good places. I'm down to fucking eat. If you're down after, I'll buy whatever on me. Yeah, if you wanna, I'll swing by. Fuck it. Curtains.
Give you a little tour. Yeah, and then like, bro, like, I got a lot of shit. I've got a shower curtain that I have too. There's like literally anything that's fabric you can do. And like I seen this one thing where people, it's called gorilla knitting, and it's
gorilla knitting.
Yeah, it is. It's like graffiti for knitting. Like so they'll tag a tree, they'll wrap a tree and knit. Like, and it's just another way to use fabric scraps, like decorate a tree with, you know, you see people paint poles and shit. Like, bro, when I first seen it, I was like, what the fuck?
Is this something you could Google?
Gorilla knitting.
I'm gonna look that shit up,
bro.
Right
yeah, and when I just went up to Chicago, I have a teacher, mentor, Preston Jackson. He also he taught up at the Art Institute in Chicago, and he's got like a couple sculptures around here. If you want to go to the studio, we can stop by there. So we went up to his Chicago studio, and when we pulled up, the first thing I seen when we parked was a tree that had blue knitting on it, and I'm like, bro, I've always wanted to do this shit.
Wait, was this before or after you knew what it was, or is that?
It was after.
Okay.
But it took me a while to see it in person, because what was I was just, had an idea about, you know, putting some fabric on I do a lot of graffiti stuff sometimes too. I was kind of into that. Did you find it?
Yeah.
Isn't that shit wild?
What, dude? If I saw that,
it's crazy.
What the fuck? But wouldn't you have to like have waterproof?
I don't think they go into it that far.
Okay.
But I hear you. Like maybe they spray it with a can of
like adhesive or something.
Yeah. Or,
is that good for animals though?
The spray? Oh, the gorilla knitting.
Out there?
I think they would just do the gorilla, like the fabric. It's I in my mind, you just see like a couple old grannies like 2 a.m. wrapping that shit
on a fucking tree, driving by, like what the I'd be like, how the fuck? But wouldn't you have to make it before?
Yeah, I would. Okay. It's like you have it like most of the way made, and then you probably just finish it with like a, you know, off the metal or something. But I've never been a part of it. If there's anybody out there who's a gorilla knitting team, I fucking love to join. Like that'd be crazy. You know what I'm saying?
Have you ever knitted or wanted to learn how to knit?
Not really, but I think I would add my flavor with it by doing like a patchwork rug, or like, you know, just like, or not rug, but a patchwork something like, and it's like a fabric sheet, you know.
I've always been interested, but then it's like you gotta limit what you do, because at some point you gotta, like, if you got everything going on, it's just gonna be a mess.
I used to, so the first time I repaired a pair of pants, my fucking pants split, you know, at work or some shit, like right down the crotch or whatever. And I was like, it's okay, I'm gonna turn it into an art project one day. And then eventually got to it and tried, like, I sewed the line or whatever, hand sewed it, and then I wanted to do like this organic shape on the, like, right on the top of the thigh. So I drew this shape, and then I started to do this stitch, like front and back stitch, I don't know what it's called, but you know, all of them are close together. And bro, it took me like 12 hours to fucking do it. It took so long. And like, I don't mind taking my time, but I like to keep things moving, you know what I'm saying? Sewing, it's meditative. It's like,
yeah,
so it keeps me going.
It gives, like, you that rush. Yeah.
But just like sitting there doing it, I respect the fuck out of it, but I would rather not. No knitting for me.
That shit seems so time, like, even hand sewing, knitting, like, it's just with you're just
and but there's people who are just as fast at doing it as the machine, because they spent their whole life doing the stitch by hand.
Like I'm a janitor, right? I've been a janitor at Krispy Kreme for 5 years.
You got
almost.
the floors clean quick, huh?
Dude, I was just about to say I can mop a floor better than fucking anyone else, and like, I'm proud of that shit.
Hell yeah.
Like, that's my job, or it's been my job, and I'm not complaining. You know, like,
you gotta do what you gotta do, man.
Literally, up until, you know, you figure out what else you need to do.
Because life is not. It's a slow process, and everybody figures it out differently. Like, if you have this mentality of like, this is what I do, I'm about to blow, this and that, like, okay, let's say you have that same mentality and you keep going for 6 months, a whole year, but it's like, it's like you're always setting yourself up for failure. But if you just like sit back, work on what you know what I'm saying, and take your time with it and develop something, it's like genuine, it's natural, and it'll not only help you in the long run, but you know what I'm saying, it's like you step back, you realize, you find out who you are, so when you're in front of everybody, you're not trying to figure who you are, because then you're like, you can be anybody, you know what I'm saying, you're just trying to fit an image. But like, once you sit back, relax, and be like, yeah, I don't like that, or yeah, I fuck with it, builds your confidence.
I think I was in the middle of asking this earlier, but if you could make a piece for an art exhibit, what would you make? It could be anything, like a big hand sewn, like this, but just on a wall, or like a statue or something.
I'm in this art group. It's a child group, Central Illinois Artist Members. I'm in it because I talked about Preston. He owns the Contemporary Art Center building, and it's like a group that's through the building. So most of the people are older than me, twice my age, but it's cool to get my art out there. But at the same time, it's like not the eyes I want.
So what are the eyes you want?
I'm not saying it's not the eyes that I want, but I just don't think people are into my stuff.
So you don't think it'll get out or be as blown out of proportion as you'd want it to be? I
don't necessarily. I think Peoria for me is a great place to work and build, stack my chips and create, the world for myself. But if I ever want full-on success, like, I've got to go out of town and like be where it's at. You know what I'm saying? Like a poppin' spot. Like, I'm not saying I need to go to LA, but it's like shit like that. Like, I need to be in Vegas. I need to be where the people are at. Like, people who are like in the future, like I think maybe it's just me. Like, I literally don't leave my house. Like, I only work with Preston and Joy. They're 3 times older than I am. And but these are the guys who I like talk to, and they're like just like I ask questions like political questions like what is socialism or stuff like that, and just like stuff I don't know that I think they would know, or what like stuff about taxes. And it's cool because he's like an older artist. He's been through this stuff, and his assistant Joy, who I talk to about that stuff because she's with all the shit. So it's cool because like he's been through like, you know, sometimes I'm like, fuck, this shit is so crazy, it's keeping me down, nobody's liking my stuff, but it's like I'm only thinking right now, but the bigger picture is like it's like just keep going, keep grinding, like this is what you do. Like I don't know, life is crazy, life is weird,
so fucking crazy.
But to get back to your question, like they actually just did a show with a child group, and the last time I did this painting. It's kind of cool because it was, before it was anything, it was a big ass canvas bag, like with a wooden handle, and that has like a handle here, and it's a bag. So what I did was I found it in my in Preston's in his studio. He said I could use it, so I chopped it in half and I like put it on a frame with upholstery nails, and I painted it. So I changed the canvas, like, and so when you look at it, it's like architecture. But that's what I did last time. I had that in a group show, and then now they're having another group show in July in Bloomington, and I'm gonna be putting in a quilt that I did for the first time. It's like a AB all over quilt. It's I've done a bigger one, but it's one smaller. It's like 4 by 4 feet or something like that, 4.5.
Does he get auctioned off or anything at the?
What it is like you set a price point, it gets put up, and I always like tax because they take like 30% or something if it sells.
30%.
Yeah, it's some galleries take 50, but.
Have you ever sold anything doing that though?
No, that's the thing. Like I just don't think it's. But it's cool because now they're going. They did one in Galesburg. They did one. Now they're doing one in Bloomington. Sometimes it was just in Peoria. I've only been doing it for like 3 years, and I've been a part of 2 shows that I wanted. I did one, and then I was like, I did the chest, and I was like in my feelings, like I had the best shit, blah blah blah, you know. But like I'm a young nigga, like these people have been here building this whole time, but just gotta just keep coming. Like every time I do a show, I do something, I do a different medium. Like the first one was a chess, the second one was a painting, the third one was a patchwork painting. It was like of Jimi Hendrix or Bob Marley, and then this third one was going to be a quilt. And I think I like this quilt. It's like because I just you know, because I'm young, people don't want to respect me, you know what I'm saying? Like
there's gonna be someone though that's like that looks at it and admires it more than anyone, you know? Like they're not gonna give a fuck about the price. It's
Hell
just
yeah.
like when you're buying art, you gotta like appreciate it for what it is, right?
Yeah.
Like there's definitely gonna be days where I just fucking look at this, yo.
Hell
like,
yeah.
Just like the shit I make, I just look at it, even if.
Because you can, it's almost like a book. If you know what you're doing, like you could like, study that. And
this is your story right here. You put time into this. Like you gave me. Like, how long would you say this took you to make?
I mean, bro.
Let me guess. Like, you cut the pieces out. I'm sure you do it like you mass produce these pieces, no?
There was a time I did, yeah. But I mean, you know, that the whole patch, like the AB was a cutout itself, and then I layered that with a background on that.
2-3 hours?
For
the patch?
Yeah, something like that. 4 or 5. But I mean, it's just like the timing and but it's all love, bro. I appreciate you taking the time out.
Yeah, dude. I mean, if this, like, I appreciate you being just like the first person to come on the show.
Hell yeah, Phil.
Like,
it's an honor.
For real, if this ever goes anywhere, like, I definitely plan on either coming back out here or, like, I want to. And the reason why I asked you, what would you make if you could have something in an art exhibit? I want to take this podcast, The Creators Experience, make art exhibits or like conventions, you know, and I'm just going to try and sneak that question in with everyone who I sit down with. Just, what would you like, make, you know? And then
have like a whole gallery full of everybody's shit.
Yeah, and then I'll clip all the videos and everything when it's time, if that ever happens, and you could make something totally different than what you said. Like, you might be like, oh, I said I was going to make that. Like, I want to make this. I'm focused on that. And then you'll look back at it like, what the fuck? And yeah, but I appreciate you coming on here. I appreciate the stickers.
Hell yeah.
Just all this shit.
Shit, all that took time too, I guess, to make it. And
oh my, like the colors are crazy. Do you use Procreate?
Yeah, most of or well, a lot of those are kind of the older stickers, and I think those were done on Photoshop.
You know what?
Illustrator.
You know what?
But most of the ones I use now are on Procreate.
I use Snapchat as like my Photoshop. Like
to like crop and shit.
Yeah, you know.
PixArt is pretty good if you're like trying to crop out pictures.
PixArt?
Yeah, it's like a photo editor. It'll do like
I might have that to be. I use something like Adobe.
If you don't have Photoshop, I would recommend that. And it's cool, like if you can get like a stylus or something to get really in there and shit, to get a good clean line.
I've been using Procreate though, like just to draw like simple shit. Cause I wanted to take that up too. I haven't put much out, and I draw not like crazy shit, not demonic shit, but it's like not. Obviously, everyone draws different shit. Everyone has their like.
It's like their own outlook of the world.
Yeah, and I'll show you some of it, but it's completely different than anything I've ever put out.
Sure.
You might be like what? Yeah. But it's not like some crazy extravagant shit. It's just like a doodle that I freestyled. I wasn't thinking like, you know, about anything other than like just, like I got lost in it, you know? And if I draw something aiming more towards my brand or what I want to put out, I think more or less like, you know, very per se, you know? Like what people would think very per se is, not like myself.
Yeah.
And I more or less am probably holding on to those images for myself to look back on.
Sure.
Which I do at times. Maybe I'll show them one day, but before I put those out, I'm just staying like low-key with it.
It's the thing is, like, you don't have to do anything right now. Like, you could just keep building and working on this idea and keep, like, you know, you could say most Instagram pictures don't just happen. No, they're planned. Like, and some pictures have more time behind them than others, and it's like the stuff people don't see.
Exact, dude. Like, people don't think about that. When you make a garment, you source just everything. You make it. You take the pictures of it. You think of a caption. You post it. You know, people are liking it, people are sharing it sometimes, like...
It's a lot of work, man.
Yeah, and
it's a lot.
The not normal person,
and I mean, but I didn't understand it until I did it, you know what I'm saying? And I mean, fashion now there's like this market of fast fashion. It's like the opposite of what we do. It's slow fashion because, you know, it's curated. Fast fashion, there's something new every season, damn near every week, you know what I'm saying? Like Forever 21, how they always have new shit. Like, it's like the opposite of what we're trying to do.
Would you consider, I mean, yeah, right, whatever Virgil puts out, would that be like fast fashion? Like, he just had his runway.
That's what the fashion industry is. Like they have new, like it's cool, and I respect the fuck out of it. It's an art craft.
Mm-hmm.
I don't. What do you do, right? Like the only thing is you have it. You can't not do something. The only thing is you figure out what to do next. So what you do is all the LV scraps, bring them my way. You feel me? Or
dude,
give them to other creators and see what they can do with it.
I fucking wish he had or he did that, or he might do that, but it might be on like the lowest of like keys.
Sure.
Or maybe Louis Vuitton's like, no, you can't give that shit away. Like, I'm sure Virgil would, if he was as tapped into, there's no way he doesn't know that there's people like Ass Pizza, which he's probably, and I don't know why I'm putting a lot of emphasis on him, but when I think of people that have been like making shit on their own for like ever.
Anytime someone, a lot of people in the beginning were like comparing my stuff to him, mm-hmm. and like I fucked with him like heavy. Like I liked his style growing up, but like we're just like on different waves. Like and it's crazy because like, bro, you could look at the whole underground game, like, let's just say Apple.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know how many fucking apples there are? How many different types of apples there are?
Like
how many different I'm saying, like, you've got the art game. Do you know how many different types of styles are in this art game? Like, mm-hmm. people are more to the left or more to the right, or mixing left and right, or blue and green. Do you know what I'm trying to say? There's people just have different styles in doing the same thing.
Everyone has their own style, or it's just like a huge mix of a bunch of different styles. Like, I feel like that's kind of where I land. I'm just mixing this and that, adding my touch, and when I look at your work, it's like I can't compare to that shit, or like whatever you make, or when it comes to someone else, it's like, damn, like you're really putting as much emphasis on your logo, your name, just putting it all over your shirts and pants and hoodies, everything. Like, everything you're wearing is you. Your shoes. Yeah. Like, did you just paint on those?
Yeah. Well, I had to sand them down a little bit, but they're starting to wear down now. I've been
sand down your shoes?
Yeah.
Did you have to apply like a primer or something?
No, I just sanded them down, and then I just started painting on them. Like, I had like a bunch of spray paint and shit on there, and then I had like a layer of, just when I get bored, fucking paint them or something, add a new layer. But I was thinking the other day, I'm like, I might just dip the tips in like white and like, I don't know, like something crazy.
Oh shit.
But like, the thing is like, I'm putting in so much work that I have, like, I'm using my clothes, like, I'm cheap as fuck. I don't want to spend money. Like, I just want to make stuff and use what I have. And like, I don't, like, I have regular clothes, but I'm so committed to whatever I'm doing. Like, most of my clothes are AB, and whenever I leave the house, I mean, I try to just have my clothes on. Just, it's like walking promotion. Like, I don't like promoting my stuff all the time, but if someone goes out of their way and says, yo, those are nice, then I'll be like, yeah, shit, I make clothes, why don't you follow me on Instagram or something?
That hasn't happened to me yet. I'm like, has that happened to you?
Get noticed, like, on the, I mean, people, I just think my, like, especially these pants, like, they're like fucking 70s like, inspired big bells.
Looking at your outfit, your bag, like, everything you pulled up in was made or like tailored by you, right? Like, there's no way I'm not inspired by this.
Yeah, and I hope you go home and you fucking do some shit.
I'm just gonna think about this. I'm gonna look at the.
I feel like we've definitely learned a lot,
and
I feel like you've learned some. Like, I've shared some knowledge that I feel like you can take on and.
Dude, that's what like this whole thing's about. Like, just other people listening, tuning in.
Fuck
like, I might do this giveaway soon because I have a shit ton of throw blankets I've just been like sitting on.
Yeah.
Like I retired that shit. I just think it got a little oversaturated, but every now and then someone comes out with like a decent piece made out of a throw blanket, and it's like, okay, but I might do a giveaway for like people, you know, they're not in school, they're not motivated to do shit like where I was at one point. I don't know if you've ever been there.
We've all been there, man.
So, you know,
that's life.
I might do a giveaway like if you buy a sewing machine just to try it out, or if you have one in the attic, I'll send you a blanket.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
That's fire. That's like some Big Brother shit.
Yeah, like because when you make something and just look at it, you think about everything you put into it, you start to look at stitches differently.
Yeah.
Right? And then
it's like a whole different world.
Yeah, and when you paint something, I'm assuming you look at another artist's work like you examine it.
Yeah, like trying to control something that has no control. Like what that right there is crazy. Trying to control something that has no control. But like it's like I lost my thought trying to think about that shit.
Trying to control. I was saying like you start to look at stitches differently.
Yeah, it's just wild.
Yeah. I mean, I keep throwing it back to this, but that's why I started this podcast. You know, sewing, you look at the stitches differently. Art, you look at artwork differently. Making rugs, you look at rugs differently. Like, this is cut pile, not loop pile.
Hell yeah.
And then with the podcast, you start to look at people differently.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And that's what this is all about.
Yeah.
Like, you just gotta like look at life differently sometimes through a different lens, and just like appreciate it.
It's gonna be good because if depending on who you do next is like we're not in the same area, so everybody has like a different flow. You know
exactly.
what I'm saying?
Like everyone grew up in a different household, different everything, and like just like your life is put out into your work almost.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't say like. Would you say your past life is brought through your work, or your previous like?
Sometimes I'll make some shit and I'll be like, this shit is ugly as fuck. Like, why the fuck did I do this? And then I'll come back to it and I'm like, it's kind of cool. Like, I fuck with it.
Okay.
So I feel like sometimes the future be talking to me. Like, I be talking to myself like I'm gonna fuck with it later. Yeah, like
through your own work. That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
like I'm working on a piece now.
Mm-hmm.
And I was really inspired. I've got the pants, I've got the shirt, and I got a hat. I'm just like trying to use these scraps. But I'm like halfway through it now, and I'm just like, I don't know if I like it. So I'm kind of like slowing down on it, but I think I just need to get back into it. And once I get to a point where I can get finished or see it more, you know, put in the same amount of time, you know what I'm saying? I could bring it back.
The energy and effort that you want to put into it. Like, do you have like a little, like a collection of pieces that are like half finished or whatever?
I've got a pile of clothes that well, not really like a pile. Whenever I work on something, I try to, for the most part, I try to get it done. Mm-hmm. But recently I've been trying to like expand my mind artistically, like different mediums that like I've just developed a pile. Like I've got like 4 or 5 tees maybe I'm working on, or some shit like that, with some pants, or then I've got a quill, and then I'm working on some painting, like sometimes, you know.
Yeah, it's like you forget about it, and it's like you're fucking you're doing something like just you just forget about it almost, and then you find it, and it's like, oh.
And you come back and you almost have a better knowledge of what you're trying to do, or you have a better understanding, and you just feel more willing to accomplish something, or, you know.
Or maybe you just didn't have enough hours in doing what you've been doing to like make that piece. Like maybe you need to put more hours in to get back to it. Yeah. So you're like, all right, I can get it done. Like, let's finish it.
And the crazy thing is like bro, like it's never too late. Like if I was working on a t-shirt or some pants from last year and I stopped, I could pick them up 20 years from now and do them, and like it'll be like a new project. Maybe not 20 years, but 20 days or 20 months or something, but
whatever it may be. Yeah, or you can just pass it down like, hey, I didn't finish this a while back. Like, you know, whether it's like your kids, a friend.
Oh, sure.
You know? When it comes to people supporting you, where do you find like the most support is given? Like Instagram, locally, people you grew up with?
Sure. I mean, right now, I'm my biggest support team. You feel me? Like I families, it's good, but you know they always have your back. Friends, like, you know, we're all on our shit. We're all trying to get our wave. You know what I'm saying? We're all, you know, trying to make it. Like Instagram, I just feel like, and it's no hate. Like I don't expect anything from anybody, but
Me either.
I put myself out there, and maybe I feel insecure about how much support on Instagram I'm getting, or lack of support I'm getting on Instagram. But the thing is, I think people watch more than they, you know, like or something, and I like going back to the spiritual thing. Like you have to be mentally strong, and like you got to go through these hills, up and downs of no's. Like I was just telling my buddy the other day, I take more L's than I do wins, but at the same time my wins they mean so much that it keeps me going. Like you lose more than you win, but the wins are worth it.
As long as you find something that keeps you going, like you're not gonna stop.
But I would say I've sold more pieces to Instagram versus locally.
It's like the complete opposite for me. Like, did you go to high school around here then?
I went to high school, but I had a bad, I like to say I had a bad experience.
I hated high school.
But looking back at it, I mean, it wasn't the worst, and maybe I just was looking at life a lot differently than I am now. And bro, you're just trying to figure things out, and they tell you you're supposed to have it figured out, and
it's like,
and you don't necessarily know how to deal with emotions, and because life, you have to deal with emotions. You can't just bury that shit. But being said, like I probably only know one person from my high school, like now, like that. But it's like, can't let that stop you. Like the people around you, like, or on Instagram, like bro, if one person fucks with it, there's like 10,000 people can fuck with it, or 1,000, or like you just never know. So if you have a vision, just keep grinding, and the thing is, consistency is everything. So if you're working on something for 20 years, like you're bound to have some sort of following. You feel me?
Yeah.
So 20 years down the line, we'll see how it goes.
Man, we'll see how this whole group of people, like where they end up at, or
a lot of people like. It's like there's some people out there who see as the future. Like people hit me up like, bro, this shit is the future. Like, but the thing is, when you're living in the future, like people don't understand it nowadays. But it's all about working and just keep going. Cause like art is, for me, it's even bigger than just art and fucking likes and shit. It's like meditation, like mental health and like mental awareness. It's like keeps me going, keeps me sane.
That's a big part of it. Like, I was so depressed in high school because I thought like no one liked me, none of that shit. And
I hear you.
I thought like, you know, wearing all the cool clothes and shit, like that's somewhat what made me comfortable, but I was like the shyest kid you can be. Look at this, I have this fucking podcast now, like
stepping out the show.
And I owe it all to this just creative shit. I feel like it took my mind away from just all the bullshit and just took
life
it
is
out
crazy,
of me completely.
Man. Life is crazy, and if And if you don't have a good head, you can get fucked up, bro. People go to drugs, alcohol, or whatever they need to do to try to stay sane, but you just gotta keep breathing, man.
All right, if you want to wrap this up, we could wrap this up.
For sure.
If you want to give yourself like a shout out real quick.
Yeah. Twistedaways at Instagram, Arion_forever. That's another account. I got Twisted Archive for the digital. And yeah, man, just appreciate you for having me. And
I appreciate you being on here. I appreciate the shirt. I appreciate the stickers.
For sure.
Everything.
All love, brother.
Yeah. All right, man.